Hello, everybody. I know it's been a while since I've done a live feed in here, and I thought it was about time. First, I just want to honor all of the voices that have been expressing themselves on the feed here and the tremendous amount of support and feedback that has been offered in response. I am so touched by that and by the openness and the authenticity and the warmth with which our incoming group members have been received and the way in which they have introduced themselves and expressed themselves on this group. I am eternally in awe of the amount of strength it takes to do that. And now, most likely, if you do find yourself here in this group, you have been touched by what I consider to be complicated grief in some fashion, and most likely it's in a romantic context. Now, I feel like there is a strong interrelationship between attachment issues and complicated grief. In fact, I believe attachment issues are a precursor to complicated grief, and I also believe they are complicated grief is a precursor to addiction issues. Okay. Now, in this particular video, what I want to do is share with you a free lesson that I have created for you from a larger course that I have on healing complicated grief. So it may be that if you're here in this group, as I said before, you may be suffering with grief, in particular in a romantic context. And, you know, maybe people around you are encouraging you to move on, but yet you still seem to struggle with this vacuous black hole in your heart space. And at the root of that is really a deep sense of yearning, a need for something that either feels like it's just beyond your reach or that its fulfillment has somehow been lost to you forever. Right? And so you may struggle with feelings of anger. You may struggle with feelings of abandonment and rejection and not feeling good enough. And it's hard to find much meaning or purposefulness in this experience that you're having. You might even feel betrayed by the spiritual beliefs and practices that you used to adhere to. Perhaps you've even been treated for anxiety or depression, and yet that doesn't seem to work or help anything. Now, what if I told you that I could help you make sense of what you are going through and teach you about the underlying neural mechanisms that actually encourage your brain to experience your grief as rewarding in only 8 hours without having to talk in circles around your feelings for days on end, for months on end, for years on end, right? In fact, you might even enjoy the process because I'm going to ask you to tap into a creative aspect of yourself that you have probably long neglected. And you're going to enjoy stepping into it because it's going to allow you to become a creator of your life again, rather than just a survivor of it. Heck, it might even be for the first time in your life, right? So if you are intrigued and you are ready to check this out, I invite you to take a look at the free training that I am offering you. This is a lesson from a 7-week course that I have, 8-week course that I have for you on healing complicated grief. And I'm going to include a link in the caption to this video. This first lesson, I call it 4 Cornerstone Questions for Grief. It's actually the second lesson in the full course. The 6 Myths About Grief is the first lesson, and that is something I typically offer through a live training, which I will be sharing at some point throughout the feed. But for right now, I want to give you the opportunity to take advantage of the second lesson, which I am offering for free only to my group members here. And so in this lesson, we make contact with your grief. And really this allows you to personify and contextualize it. And that helps you go from being swamped and overwhelmed by these really heavy feelings, and which can often be really punishing, to being able to dialogue with them in a collaborative effort, really progressing towards a state of wholeness. And I will even use the word recovery because to my mind, addictions can also be tied up in our short-term escapes from grief feelings. Okay. So I really would love it if you check it out. If you do decide to take the free training, post your comments in the feed or in the thread below this video. If you make the automatic drawings I'm going to ask you to make, I'd love to see what you come up with. There's such amazing engagement and authentic sharing going on in this group. I'd love to see what you come up with creatively. I'm sure there's a ton of creative energy in here. So that's it. I hope you check out the lesson, and I'm relying on you for your feedback. You tell me how I'm doing, and I can always create better and more useful content based on what you share with me. So thank you for your attention. I hope you check it out.